Stefan kicking us off out the gate already. Look at the one gifted membership right at the start. Thank you, Stefan, for the one gifted membership right at the start. Good evening, you wonderful human beings. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Wednesday evening. More 11th edition stuff has come out, which is exciting. Specifically fight play stuff. I see Rizzleheimer says, I'm hoping for a good rules breakdown. It's all a bit confusing. I've glanced over it. I wouldn't necessarily suggest that I understand it yet. We're going to go through it tonight. We'll have a look at the new fight phase stuff that's been talked about on Warcom today, and we'll see if we can make sense of it. I can't promise you whether I can or can't make sense of it, right? I'm going to try, but I can't promise you. So we'll see. Anyway, if you haven't already, please make sure you smash all those magical YouTube buttons. First, hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Smash subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon if you want to be notified when we go live in the future. And there are another 3 streams today, another 3 streams this week after today, 2 tomorrow, 1 on Friday. So, you know, lots of reasons to hang out. As always, we have our targets. If you're one of those amazing people in chat, you can help us hit those targets. 100 likes. There's 27 so far. £100 super chat. And then 100 gifted memberships. We've got 1, right? So we've got 1% of our target. Thank you so much. Banging. I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. I'm gonna jump straight into it. Brian's active again, so if you want to interrupt me at any point, just stick a postcard in, and Brian will interrupt me. You can talk to me about what you think about these changes. You can ask me questions. You can ask me how big my pants are, if you want. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I do, however, thank you, Evan, for the 1 gifted membership. I do, however, have this ready. Whoop! Look at that. New 40k combat changes shake up fighting in the new edition. So let's go through this, right? The new edition of Warhammer 40,000 aims to tell a story with every game, and nothing is more dramatic than the brutal, blade-clashing, chainsaw revving, blood-splattering carnage of close combat in the 41st millennium. None of that carnage is lost in the new edition, and the phase is now faster and smoother than ever, which sounds promising to me. Evan, thank you for 1 more gifted. You're a legend. The first change you'll notice, engagement range is now 2 inches instead of 1 inch. If you're within 2 inches of an enemy unit, you're engaged with it, and you can't finish a move within engagement range of an enemy without charging. Crucially, you can now move through an enemy model's engagement range in the movement phase. Like this change. I think this is cool. I like the fact that it's a 2-inch engagement now. I do kind of, sort of wish they'd gone to AOS's 3 inches, simply because that means there's always a possibility of failing a charge on double 1. But hey, in the new edition, you pick the targets of your charge after you roll. Love this. And any unit can declare a charge so long as there is at least 1 enemy unit within 12. This means there tends to be far fewer totally failed charges where a unit is left standing around in the open, particularly if you're smart and you position your unit to have multiple potential options depending on what you roll, including not charging at all if you prefer. I think this is a huge benefit to the game. I think this is much better. There is nothing worse than having a unit 3 inches away from a charge target and 8 inches away from a charge target, choosing the latter and not the former, rolling a 7 and then just being stood in the open and getting blown off the table in the next turn. I hate it. I think this is a really good positive change. So charge move. This looks interesting, by the way. This looks like they've adopted the AOS approach to rules, which... So eligible if your unit declared a charge at this phase, effect your unit moved as described in moving, 03, right? Before moving, select 1 or more enemy units that are within 12 inches of your unit and within the maximum distance of your unit. Until the end of this move, each of those enemy units is the charge target. While moving, each model must end its move closer to 1 or more charge targets. Each model that can end its move within 1 inch of 1 or more charge targets must do so. Each model that can end its move engaged with 1 or more charge targets must do so. Seems quite simple, right? Your unit must be engaged with all of the charge targets. Your unit cannot be engaged with 1 or more enemy units that are not charge targets. Until the end of the turn, each model in your unit has the fight's first ability. You say you can now fail a 2-inch charge with double 1s, but you can't. You can't read while moving, right? So you're within 2 inches of an enemy unit. You roll a charge, you get a double 1. Each model must end its move closer to one or more charge targets. Each model that can end its move within 1 inch of one or more charge targets must do so. Each model that can end its move engaged with charge targets must do so. Charge engagement range is 2 inches now. You can't fail a 2-inch charge. You can't. Mordy Hammer, thank you for 5 gifted memberships. You're a legend. So 2-inch charges aren't fails. You don't have to be base to base anymore. So moving charge is also a little more generous. The target of your charge must be within the distance that you rolled, measuring base to base. And if you can get within 1 inch when you move a model, you must do so. But if you can't, you only need to move to be within engagement range. This means that charging around corners or into terrain becomes a far more forgiving endeavour, as your unit only needs to make it within 2 inches of the enemy. You have to measure base to base for the charge distance, but you don't have to end in base to base. I literally just read that part out. Literally just read that part out, right? Moving charge is also a little more generous. The target of your charge must be within the distance you rolled, measuring base to base. Okay, all right, I'm with you. Actually, I'm wrong. You're right. It's measured base to base, but you can end within 2 inches. You're right, I'm wrong. I'll take that one. I'll wear that one, chat. I misread. Crucially, you can fight any enemy unit within engagement range, 2 inches, which means there's none of that I'm going to stand 1 inch away from the wall. Thank God, malarkey. Terrain can still help to limit how many models can get to the fight, but it will rarely mean that units fail a charge because the enemy has positioned a line of troopers the other side of a barricade. Right? Beautiful. Making a charge move. Right. I don't know how much I love these graphics, but let's go for it. The blue unit declares a charge, and the charge roll generates a maximum distance of 7 inches. Unit A is within this distance, so can be selected as a charge target. But the blue unit would not be able to end its charge move engaged with this unit after moving around the intervening terrain feature. B. This unit is more than 7 inches from the charging unit, so it cannot be selected as the charge target, even though the charging unit could end its charge move within 2 inches of this unit. That's where the double one fails. You guys are right. I was wrong. I always said that I'll own it if I'm wrong. You're right, I'm wrong. C. These units are both within 7 inches, so can be selected as charge targets. The charging unit can end its charge move engaged with all its charge targets, so this move can be made. Cool. I'm actually... Now I've reread it and you guys are correct, I'm actually glad. Failing a charge on double one, I think, is the right way to go. I absolutely think it should be possible to always fail. I think that's part of the beauty of a dice game. Another key change is ingress moves, which cover all types of special deployment, like deep strike and other ways of moving in from strategic reserve. They allow you to set up more than 8 inches away from enemy models, rather than the current 9 inches. This means that you still need to roll a 9 to successfully charge out of deep strike, but now your potential landing zones are larger, and you have much more flexibility to move your models around when the dice gods are kind. Obviously, if you have to be 8 inches away, or just over 8 inches away, then when you roll a double 4 and you get 8 inches, base the same on the double 1 and the 2 inches, you wouldn't be able to measure base to base and make a charge. Right? Cool. Good. So 8 inches now for deep striking distance, but still 9 to charge. Because you no longer have to just end within 1 inch, you have to measure base to base to be eligible charge target. We got that? Anyone lost so far? Super chat if you lost. Right? We're on 8 members. We're 2 members away from double figures. Pile-in moves also see changes. These are now all done before the fisticuffs start, rather than each time a unit is selected to fight. The player whose turn it is resolves all of their pile-ins first, shuffling units 3 inches to get as many as possible into engagement range, followed by their opponent. Fighting works much the same as it did before. Players alternate between units that are eligible to fight, but the order in which those units get to fight has changed. Most importantly, the player whose turn it is now gets to pick a unit first, including when fighters on both sides have the fights first rule. This means that one of your units that charged will get to strike before enemy units that have the fights first rule. I also think this is a positive change. Once all combatants with fights first have taken their swings, the person who would normally be next in line gets first pick from the rest of the crowd, regardless of whose turn it is. How would you fail a 2-inch charge? Right, let's get to it, because this seems to be confusing people, right? It confused me, literally, as I went through it, which is why Escapades lost. Right, engagement range is now 2 inches. Okay, cool, beautiful. When you declare the target of your charge, you declare a charge so long as there is at least one enemy within 12 inches, right? Then you declare the target, okay? select one of my enemy units that are within 12 inches of your unit that with and within the maximum distance of your unit.
Sure, we all did pile-in move, but what about second pile-in?
What about second pile-in? We'll get there. Okay. Right, cool. It says here, moving charge is also a little more generous. The target of your charge must be within the distance that you rolled, measuring base to base. This is the important part here, Esk, right? The target of your charge must be within the distance that you rolled, measuring base to base.
I'm lost, too wordy for my pea brain.
So, thanks, Dave. So in a world where you have to be 2 inches away because 2 inches is engagement range, so you actually, let's be honest, you can't be exactly 2 inches away, you have to be 2.1 inches away, right? Because that's how it works by staying out of engagement range. If you then roll a double 1, your maximum charge distance is 2 inches. If you then measure base to base, 2.1 inches, you've failed your charge. If you're within that charge range, you then only have to move in engagement range. Okay? You don't have to move base to base. We got it? I got it wrong straight away. My first read of it, I got it wrong. So, you know, I get it. I get it totally. Right. Cool, we've done that one. Normal fight. Players alternate selecting units to fight. A fight's first unit must be selected before any other eligible units. The red player selects their monster to fight. It makes a normal fight, destroying the transport. The embarked unit makes an emergency disembark move. After doing so, it is unengaged. You've then got Overrun fight. That's a normal fight, right? Overrun fight. The blue player has no fights first units, so the red player selects their next unit. The red player selects another fights first unit, this one, the one with the arrow above it. This unit is unengaged, but was engaged with the transport at the start of the fight step, so can make an overrun fight. It first makes a pile-in move to engage the unit that disembarked, then fights, destroying 2 enemy models. The blue player's unit fights back, but inflicts no damage. So, Demon Prince here, and unit here charges Rhino, right? Demon Prince fights and kills Rhino. Unit disembarks. This unit then piles in 3 inches, because it was eligible to fight, and then kills 2 models. That's not too different to now. Similar-ish to now. It's just because at the point in which... so what it's telling us is there's obviously different steps to the fight phase. And normally now, all pile-ins are done first, and then all fights are done first. So they will have piled in here, and then by doing an overrun fight, they pile another 3 inches. Hence, Predator's comment about what about second pile-in, I assume. Okay? Sometimes, in fights with a lot of separate units involved, your troops might find the models were previously engaged but are dead by the time it's turned to swing. Fear not, if they are eligible to fight but unengaged, they can make a special overrun fight that gives them a second pile-in move before picking their new targets. We just talked about that, right? Finally, when everyone is done knocking the stuffing out of each other, consolidate moves are all made.
If there is still no finishing a move within engagement, the bubbles of move blocking for Knights and New Defiler, etc., is even more severe.
There's no finishing a move within engagement, but you can now move through engagement, right? When everyone's done knocking the stuffing out of each other, consolidate moves are all made at the same time. Similar to pile moves, they can be used to maneuver further into combat, leap on an enemy unit within 3 inches, or dash to a nearby objective. But be careful when engaging a new enemy unit that hasn't fought yet in that phase, as they'll still get the chance to fight despite everyone else being done. Same as now, basically. More is on its way from the new edition of Warhammer 40,000 as soon as well as yet another miniature reveal from the Armageddon box set Monday while you're waiting for the latest upgrades. Sign up to our newsletter, blah, blah, blah. Right, cool. This is all good stuff. We'll talk about it. Feel free, people, to send me super chats and fucking all sorts about that. I'm super excited to see what you guys think and say. Thank you for another member. I don't know who gave me that one, but we're on to 9 members now. I would love for us to at least get to 10. Come on, that'd be great. What I do want to do is quickly talk about this guy, right? This new speed bike guy, which I don't love the comedy flames. I don't hate the rest of the model. I quite like the rest of the model, right? His data sheet, chat, depending on his points clearly, is fucking mental. So Wazdakka Gutsmek has Primarch level abilities.
It will be interesting to see what they do for units/rules that allow 6 inches pipe and consolidate.
Yeah, it would. It would. So he has a Primarch level ability. He's an epic hero, so you can take one of them. If he's your warlord, Warbikers become battle line, which I like this straight away. Maybe it means we're going to get new Orc Warbikers. I think that's highly likely now. He has a 14-inch move at toughness 8 with a 3-up save for an Orc and a 4-up invulnerable save, 10 wounds, a leadership of 6+, and an objective control of 3. Right? He's then got a couple of guns. Listen to this. He's got his Grabber Dragger, which is an assault precision weapon with a 12-inch range that hits on 2s at strength 10, -2, 3 damage. Precision at strength 10, -2, 3 damage. Hitting on 2s for an Orc is mental. And he's got a Psycho Gatler, right, which is assault sustained hits 1 with 12 shots within 24 inches that hit on 4s at strength 6, -2, 2 damage. Pretty good straight away, right? He's then got his main melee weapon. Thank you, Meg, for the one gifted. You're a legend. Which is his Grabber Dragger. It's a lance weapon that's still strength 10, -2, 3 damage, but he gets 6 attacks hitting on 2s. Fuck me. And then everything else is extra attacks, so he just gets another 7 attacks on top that hit on various numbers and do maybe some damage. He gets D3 wounds back at the start of every command phase. He's got Deep Strike and Lone Up, right? And he can pick one of these 3 things for his Shocker engine. He can advance and charge or fall back and charge with the first particular option. He can instead, if there's no one within engagement range of him in the command phase, uppy downy, or he can use his Pulse Jet, and until the end of the phase, you add 6 to the move characteristic of models in the unit, and models in the unit can move through terrain features. He is fucking mental. He is mental. Mental. So I can only imagine they really want to sell those models. Do we expect the power creep to be nerfed? Yeah, I think what's going to happen is what kind of always happens is, cool, we've sold 500 of them, or 5,000 of them, or 10,000 of them. Points hike. That's what will happen. He's in every Orc list. Points hike. And they'll then continue to tweak points until he's about right. That's what I think will happen, if I'm honest. What do I think of combat then, chat? Talk to me. I think I understand most of it. And I think, for the most part, I like it and it makes sense. That's what I think. I really need you to smash the gifted in tonight as well, chat. Because I've had to send Toby home sick. He's not very well. So help is greatly appreciated right now. That's why I'm in my hobby house attire this time round, because he can't work downstairs. So for the hour and a half that I'm on the show, Dan's on his own down there, and I'm going to have to go and join him for the last hour and help tidy up, pack up, close up, etc. Which is fine, I don't mind. And I almost couldn't do the show, but then it's not, thankfully, this sounds like a really counterproductive thing to say. I was about to say, thankfully, it's not busy enough that Dan's going to be overwhelmed. And I have my phone right next to me right here, so if he needs me, he can message or phone in case someone comes in with a fucking weapon or something. So there's a possibility if Dan messages me, it means something's gone wrong downstairs, which I can't think it's going to happen, but never say never, right? It'll be the one time it does happen. I might have to run off and make sure he's okay. But that's why we're in hobby house attire tonight, team. It makes as much sense as brown red sauce. I think it's okay. I think I misunderstood the engagement range thing, but now I've reread it and chat have corrected me. I actually think it makes mostly good sense. I'm pretty comfortable with it all. Not sure what the benefit of fights first will be now if you're the one being charged. The benefit of fights first if you're the one being charged is, let's say your opponent charges 4 units and 2 units charge your fights first unit, and the first one fights and doesn't kill your fights first unit will then get a go. If it didn't have fights first, all of your opponent's fights first units fights first. I always hated fights first, charging fights first, and then your opponent fights first. I always hated that. I think this is the way around it should have always been. If I'm being honest. I think it's always the way it should have been. But, you know, that's... I'm also a mostly melee fan, so... It nerfs Thunderwolf Cavalry and Logan Grimnar. Those bases are bigger than 2 inches across. So base to base to basing, that one lead Thunderwolf Cavalry means only he fights. That's interesting. I didn't think of that. That is interesting. Let's do some explanations, right? So if let's take a different piece of the screen. Let's take a circle. All right, don't worry, chat. I'm doing something here. So, right, I'm going to show you something now. I'm fucking about here because I want to do some demonstrating. I want to see if this works. So, it works. Good. Okay, good. So this is my design software that I use for thumbnails. So we've got enemy units in red, and we've got friendly unit in blue, right? Woo, 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 woo. Look, he's moving around, right? Now let's pretend these units are bigger than 2 inches. So Thunderwolf Cavalry, and this is a massive model like a Defiler, right? The scale's not quite on, but for the sake of argument. In the current edition of Warhammer 40k, right? If we say that this here is engagement range, right? So we'll put an arrow on each end, we'll make it thicker, and we'll bring it in a little bit. Right, cool. So that's engagement range, right? That's 2 inches engagement range there, okay? So if you charge currently in Warhammer 40k, and this one goes there, right, into engagement range, because you have to make base to base. Right, that's as close as we can get it. And then he comes here, right, and he comes here. All three of them can currently fight. He's in base to base, he's in base with him who's in base to base, he's in base with him who's in base to base. All three can fight, right? Cool, okay. In the new edition, if he can get to here to be within engagement range, and he comes to here, and he comes to here, because that's as far as they can move, right, including their pile-ins, these two can't fight now. These two can't fight now, whereas they can in the current edition. They'd have to end up within engagement range to be able to fight. Engagement range is 2 inches. So this is my 2 inches. Right? Am I right? Is that right? Most models lives paid all year. Fuck you, chat. Thank you so much, Chris Napier, for 5 gifted memberships. We're on 15, chat. 15 gifted memberships, £15 in super chats. Is that? Am I right? So in a circumstance where we charge here, I mean, I guess if we charge here and here, and we're in coherency, right, like that, we've charged, we stay in coherency, we've used our maximum charges, just as close as we get, and then I pile in here, and I'm not within 3, and I pile in here, and I'm not within 3. These two now can't fight anymore. Right? Are you with me? That's interesting. And in the example that was given, like Thunderwolf Cavalry, like that is a problem, potentially. Make it up as you go along rules. Well, that's what they do, mate. To be fair. That's what they do. You got it right. Okay. Interesting. I didn't think of that as an implication. Now there's a 2-inch pile in and not base to base to base to base. That second pile-in will have to be for everything. That second pile-in is if the unit has no eligible targets, though. If the unit made a charge move and then has no eligible targets, so 2 units charge 1 unit, right? And then the first unit destroys the enemy unit. The second unit then doesn't have an eligible charge target, an eligible fight target, but did charge, so eligible to fight.
Arrest, but the first red dot can be 2 inches away.
Yeah. Thank you for the $2, you legend. It does stop things like you moving one massive model in and then just tagging everything else onto the base of that model. The first dot can be 2 inches away, but it can't. It can't. If we read the rules again, right? I love doing this sort of shit, by the way. If we read the rules again for charge distances, it says each model must end its move closer to 1 or more charge targets. Each model that can end its move within 1 inches of 1 or more charge targets must do so. Each model that can end its move engage with 1 or more charge targets must do so. Okay, engaged being the 2 inches. But it also says the target of your charge must be within the distance you rolled, measuring base to base. So if you roll a 5-inch charge and you're within 5 inches, each model that can end its move within 1 inch of model must do so. So there's no world where you roll a charge distance which satisfies this and you can't be within 1 inch. Unless you're going around terrain. And then maybe. So if... what would be the best way of showing this off? So in this circumstance, if I roll the charge here, let's say this is 7 inches, and this piece of terrain's in the way, right? Like that. I roll 7 inches. The only way I can get away with charging and not being within 1 inch based on those particular circumstances, I charge round the terrain, and I've only just got enough movement to end within 2 inches. And then he'll come around here, and then he'll come around here. Right? Can we also, by the way, all appreciate this amazing graphical representation that I'm just doing on the fly? You have to roll that amount, but you can end 1 inches away. No, so if we remove the terrain feature and you roll the correct charge distance, you have to move model within 1 inch if you can, and then you can move models. You have to move models within engagement range if you can. So the only way you roll a charge distance and then don't end up with a model within 1 inch is if there's something blocking your path and you have to go around it.
3 red and 1 blue. Most models I've seen Liam finish painting in years.
I think PJ already beat you to that one, JK, but thank you for the $5, man. You're a hero. We're still on 15 members, chat. 5 members gets us to 20. Go! I'm well proud of my graphics right on the fucking... Better than walk-on graphics. But what about 4th pile-in? I'm really excited about 11th, chat. I'm going to be honest. Like, so excited.
Liam, have you thought about teaching 11th on the channel? Something like a scholarship?
I have
Thoughtful face emoji.
I have absolutely thought about teaching 11th on the channel. But guess what? As with everything, we won't charge you for it. Just throwing it out there.
Killing the graphics scenarios.
Oh, you're all too kind. Thank you. I said that about 10. I know I did. This is why I have frequently, throughout the course of the rules releases for this edition, Yeston, said the word cautiously optimistic, because I got burned hard in 10th. I got burned really hard in 10th, and I almost look like a bit of a knob, right? Because I championed it based on what they sold me, and that wasn't what happened. And we spoke about it. I'm not going to bore you all the details again. You've heard the story. So I am, and I need a new edition in my life right now. I do, and I like so far everything they've shown us. I'm quite liking for the most part. I mean, it's going to be, you know, when you see the complete package, you can give a better, what's the word, review, or you get a better idea as to whether it all works together or not. And and ultimately, what I will say for all this stuff, and I keep saying to you that I'm excited for 11th edition. I like what we're being seen. Ultimately, I can't make up my mind on it until I've got the rules in hand and I play a game of it, right? So I need rules in hand to tell you whether I do or don't think it's any good. Ultimately, maybe you need to get published and Warhammer again and make that wonderful graphic into an article. It's all about just trying to visualize stuff. Because the thing is, what happens with I'm a cautious optimist. If only there was a coaching service out there that takes the piss. The thing is, right, is what Games Workshop have done of late, and I think this has been. I don't know if this is fair actually, but it's how I feel. Is a lot of rules become word soup, right? They almost overcomplicate the wording to try and remove ambiguity. And they do it because fucking rules lawyers exist. And I think you'll find rules as written versus rules as intended. I'll fucking bore off, dickhead, and go back to your mum's basement. But they exist, they're there. So Games Workshop go, well, instead of giving any level of ambiguity, what we're going to do is we're going to write 84 sentences for a single rule. Just so every time you go, oh, I think you'll find you can't do that because we've literally covered it off in the rule, right? That's what happens. Which is fine. I get it. I get it for removing and reducing rules lawyering. I get it. I understand. Or people trying to use like a rules as written argument because as written I can do this. I get why they have to do it, why they feel like they have to do it. However, what that often means is that for the casual player, they read this box of spiel and they go, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what on earth is all this like? And they get halfway through it and go, oh, I've fucking forgotten what I was reading. I've forgotten halfway through the fucking rule. I don't know what it is anymore. Right? And so putting these little graphics on the screens and trying to help teach you, I just think breaking it down, like giving it to you in layman's terms, and I'm a person, you know, visual learning I think is huge, and if you can show a person rather than trying to talk them through it, why wouldn't you show them? Because you can just literally show them, literally demonstrate exactly what it is that you're trying to tell them. If you can do that, if you have the capacity or the ability to do that, do that. And if that's little coloured circles on Figma so that I can show you what I mean, so be it. It's not particularly difficult to throw together. So, in all seriousness, right? If nonsense little, and I mean this sincerely as well, I'd love to know. This is a genuine question for you, actually, right? If little nonsense graphics like this, because we can do like little fucking boxes on the outside of it and all sorts, so it's more clear. If little graphics like this, right, help people when the new edition comes, I will make more of them. I'll do it. I'll do little videos with these kinds of graphics. They won't be particularly professional. If they help people, though, I'll do them. We are still only on 50 members, though, chat. Get over 100 members tonight and I'll commit to doing little graphics for things like that. There's 164 people watching tonight. If you want it, everyone's just got to gift one member and it will happen. I don't think that'd be particularly... I could literally prep it all on stream with circles and squares. I could literally do it live. I'd like more triangles. Okay. More MS Paint. I haven't used MS Paint in fucking years, actually. But I can prep it. I can even... If I know it's wanted, if people are desperate for it, I can even get top-down pictures of models on my little design software and top-down pictures of actual terrain, and we can use actual top-down, proper, like, kind of graphics. But to guarantee it, just need you to wave your members in my face.
I hate that you don't have to base anymore with the charge roll. Hopefully the pile-in forces you to, or we'll get lots of gamey moves onto objectives.
I hate that you don't have to base anymore with the charge roll. Hopefully the pile-in forces you to, or we'll get lots of gamey moves onto objectives. I'm kind of the opposite, Narek. I'm kind of here for the gamey moves onto objectives. So as a player who played melee armies before 10th edition and loved things like Harlequins, move shenanigans to take objectives in the fight phase, etc., was something I was king of, and I loved it. Or use TTS. I can't fucking figure out TTS. There's different. There's a decent new tool for stuff like that. Shadow boxing can load any template and any move about the map layouts. Okay. Shadow boxing, interesting. Yeston, thank you for the one gifted. Yeston wants it. We're not talking about the cabinet, Yeston. We're not talking about the cabinet. We're not talking about it. PJ, thank you for the one gifted. He wants it too. He wants graphics. Chargers don't have to base anymore.
Got your catchphrase, circle circles are circles.
Circle circles are circles, Escape. They are. No, you don't have to say, Brian, you don't have to end your charge move within base to base. You have to be within base to base range of your maximum charge distance, but you don't have to end within base to base. If you're within your maximum charge range, measured base to base, you have to end within an inch if you can. You have to end within 2 inches if you can. I'm going to have to really read through the rules because Warhammer sucks at communication. It does, yeah. 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 I think it will be... this is one of those moments, right, where I think it sounds more complicated than it is, but it also sounds more complicated because it's different to what we currently know. Right? Run the clock, thank you for the one gifted. We're on 18 members, chat. 2 to get to 20. Then just a couple of 50 bombs would be great, I'll be honest. Who's feeling like a big dick? The graphics are really helpful. You'd think Games Workshop would try more to make things easier to understand. I mean, they do have their static graphics with a description underneath, but I don't think it helps. I often think that sometimes I read it and go, what the fuck are you talking about? Gonna have to get the rules in hand to work it out properly, 100%. There is also, remembering that there's now, it sounds like, there's a pile-in step, right? Then a fight step, then a consolidate step. You and your opponent do the pile-in step first. So I'm player one, I'm the attacking player, it's my turn. I pile in all of my units, and then you pile in all of your units. I then fight with all my units, you fight with all your units. I then consolidate all my units, you consolidate all your units. Right? So it's a bit neater, a bit tidier. Okay. So I charge. I end an inch away because I can. I pile in, and I use it for some movement shenanigans. You then pile in and base me. I'm going to assume at that point I can't consolidate unless you're dead. It's an assumption, though, based on current piling and consolidation rules. It's an assumption. They change those rules, which is very possible and plausible. It doesn't work. You then can't. If they say you can make a consolidation move even if you're in base-to-base contact, well then you can't tag people up, right? So I don't think it's as bad, but who knows? Biggie hugs. Thank you for 1 gifted. 1 away from 20, chat. Just roll more than the charge you need. Exactly. Just roll higher. Just roll higher, chat. Must be base to base. No, you don't. There's no must be base to base anymore. It's gone. You don't have to be base to base anymore. Both players getting the pilot has some potential fun for movement blocking stuff. Yeah, 100% it does. Yeah, there's no requirement to end your charge move within base to base anymore. Esk. Is this the first rule you've discussed so far on the channel? Because we talked about the terrain rules and stuff. Wick, thank you for the 1 gifted. Love you, Sam. Up to 20. Right, now just multiples of 10, chat. Go. Or 50 from John. Oh, Mr. McCardle. Thank you so much for 50 gifted memberships, you fucking legend. I hope you're doing really well. Miss your face. Love you. What a fucking legend with 50 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Chris Napier comes in with 1 more gifted. You're a hero. Thank you so much, Big John McCardle. You fucking legend. I love you. I believe your piling cannot bring you into combat where the unit was not eligible to charge at the start of the charge phase. Interesting. What a fucking hero. And there's still, after John's 50 bomblet, there's still 3 grey names coming straight after. Anyone want to match John's kahunas? Odd members. No, I don't like it. I don't want to be on 71. Thank you, though, John. You're a hero. The lads actually did alright as well yesterday. They only fell 18 short of the whole day target, which is I was quite impressed by. It'll probably be all different in the rulebook. That's my concern, Kai. That's exactly my concern. That's exactly what I'm worried about, mate. When you realise that Warcom's just been making shit up. Yeah, base is only when measuring the distance, therefore must be the 1 inch. Yeah, 100%. That's right. Correct. You got it. You got it. Oh my god, I'm still great. I'm still here as well. You can solve those problems on your own. Got some birthday money yesterday with another match. Oh, bless you. You don't have to spend your birthday money on me. That's not what you should be doing. Amber, thank you for the 1 gifted. The Discord roles are a bit buggered. I can see most of the channels without membership still. Okay, I'll go and have a look at some point. Gaz has been on it, but I haven't given it the attention that I need to. Any bets on a day 1 FAQ? I would be surprised if there wasn't one, if I'm honest. Thank you, by the way, the Sherbet, for being so honest. What a legend. What a legend. I'll get in there and fix it at some point. Discord shit itself and I had to reset everything and it really shit itself. So, I'll get it sorted at some point. There's just been a lot going on, team. We're almost at 100 likes. We're 3 away from 100 likes. I reckon they will bring back all those auras. Do you reckon? The problem is, Kai, sometimes I never know if what you're saying is a genuine theory or you're on the wind-up again. Gaz is a godsend to give him time. He's been amazing. I need to message him, actually, explain myself to him. Is the stream promoting other channels, Discord channel update? Yeah. I'm thinking about doing that on Friday, maybe? I don't know. So, yeah, it's up. I might have to dig about with permissions though to make sure people can actually see it. Sorry, chat, I'm just still checking my phone to make sure Dan's okay downstairs. Why do we think that a model touching the base of a model in combat can no longer fight? So the reason why that's right, I'll explain, Jay Mathias, right? Let me explain, because rather than just trying to talk you through it, I'll make it as clear as I can. Here it is. The first change you'll notice, engagement range is now 2 inches instead of 1 inch. If you're within 2 inches of an enemy unit, you're engaged with it, and you can't finish a move within engagement range of an enemy unit without charging. Right? So we're assuming engagement range is just 2 inches, okay? Which means, in this particular circumstance, this is 2 inches. Let's get rid of the terrain. This is a Thunderwolf base, which is bigger than 2 inches. Unless they keep the base-to-base with the model in base-to-base rule, which we don't yet know. We don't know that. If they get rid of the base-to-base with the model within a base-to-base rule, then in this particular circumstance, even though these are in base-to-base with him, only one's within 2 inches. So I will add a caveat. We have, right, we have assumed they're removing the if you're base-to-base with the model in base-to-base, you can fight. We're assuming they're just saying engagement range is 2 inches. But we have made an assumption for clarity. Okay? So there's every realistic possibility that if you were within base-to-base with a model who's base-to-base, you should still fight. There's every realistic possibility that's still there. Okay? Springies, thank you for the one gifted. 173. 2 away from 75, chat. Two-inch engagement and base-to-base would be a lot. I agree, which is why I feel like they would have removed the base-to-base nonsense and just gone flat 2-inch engagement range, so it's neater and tidier. That does mean that models on big bases like Thunderwolves are going to start to struggle. But I agree with you, Sammy. I am making that assumption because I think that's logically what they'll do. I'm assuming the 2-inch engagement range will supersede the base-to-base rule, so you can't tap Fulgrim on his shoulder and fight for his base. Well, exactly. Exactly. That's. I agree. I think that it means you get away with like Logan Grimnar charging in, and then you just touch all the Wolfguard Terminators to his base, even though they're not actually near the enemy unit because they're around the back of his base, and they can then fight through him. I don't like that fighting through nonsense. So I genuinely believe they'll remove the base-to-base thing. I might be wrong. Good square bases up. Corner Ed, thank you for the one gifted. On 74, chat. 1 away from 75. You're a legend. And then 5 lots of 5 and we're done. We're over the line. We're over the line with likes already. 106 likes, people. You clearly like the show. Aw, is it the shirt? You can tell me. You can tell me it's the shirt. I feel like that would be a change that would need to be explicitly called out on that article as it's a giant change. I'm inclined to agree with you on that, but I'm also aware we're talking about Warcom. Quick off-topic question. Do you have a Wolf Scout kill team in stock? Not a clue. I'd have to literally go downstairs and look. Meg, you've just said that Dan says he's fine and no one's got a knife. Can you go and check if we've got a Wolf Scout kill team in stock? And report back. Beast boss with an 80mm base allowing 6 fucking Swighole boys to fight through them like 6 inches away just looked wrong. I agree. This is what I mean. I think I prefer it. I agree. Mr. Matthias. I agree, James, that it's a big old change. I do agree with you. I still think that's what they're going to do, but I don't know. What do you think, chat? Postcards go, team. Good night, have a good one. It'll all change tomorrow, probably. And what do we think of Wazdakka Gutsmek as well, team? Because I think he looks bonkers, but maybe I'm wrong. Wasn't engagement range for Horde armies in 10th, 2.5 inches. No. Feels so much more chill. I think it sounds better with the limited information we've been given. How's the Hobby House web order site coming? Let's not talk about it. We're close. I feel like every week I'm saying we're close, though. This week, I'm personally making zero progress. So we've got Dan, who's our staff member, our assistant manager. He's off on leave for 4 days in Spain. So we've got our shop assistant covering the bar for 4 days, and Toby now has a sickness bug. So we're hoping that it's just food poisoning and he'll be fine tomorrow. So he's gone home to go to bed and sleep, as he should. We're hoping it's just food poisoning. If it's not, we could be in trouble. I have managed to get to a point where I've got cover tomorrow night for the game. It's Paddy, Tom and Joe tomorrow night. I don't know who's playing who and I don't really care, but that's what it is. So I can now cover off downstairs for tomorrow night. 2 currently in stock. There you go. We've got 2 Wolf Scout kill teams in stock. Look at that. The funds set aside for childcare are in serious danger when Hobby House web store is opening up and running. I mean, there's also gifted memberships, Farmer George. Right? Who needs childcare when you can give memberships? I heard that every person you gift a membership to owes you a full day's childcare. I'm just saying. Thanks for checking, Meg. Love you. You're amazing. My little shop stock chat helper downstairs right now, look. What a hero. What the fuck? I thought I heard your bike start up. I thought you'd fucked off. I like Wazdakka with that. He makes bikers battle line. Hope to see more of that in 11th. Agree. Within reason, but yes, agree. I bought my screwdriver up here today to do sad cabinet chat. I did bring my screwdriver up here today. Just didn't get any further than that. Does that mean the entire channel and its subscribers owe Big John years of childcare? No, it's just for you, Farmer George. If that worked, it might actually be cheaper than childcare. Probably would be, yeah. Yeah, think about it. You give 5 members for 25 quid, you get 5 days of childcare. Definitely cheaper, Sal. Definitely cheaper, mate. And it's not even a mate. I don't think it's a maybe, mate. I think it's definitely cheaper. 1 person for a day's childcare for $4.99. I suspect he did not have food poisoning, but rather calicit. I stopped my bike to move it. I thought I heard it going. Calgar making Victrix battle line, yeah? Yeah. Let's see that. Let's not see 18 Victrix guard. Let's see 36 Victrix guard. Think I better sell some more sheep. Chat, we're 1 away from 75 members. Just took a look at Venom Thropes. If they don't change stealth, they will be strong 11th. Give cover and stealth to infantry. It's hard, isn't it? It's really hard at the moment to look at what currently exists and thinking about how that ports across to the new edition. Hey, from New Zealand, your sister nation. Hey, Samantha. I've always wanted to go to New Zealand. I want to go and visit Hobbiton. really want to go and visit Hobbiton one day. See if the hobbits are real. 36 war bikes. Well, you got to think that they're going to get new ones, right? Surely. Hobby House would love to see that. The channel, not so much. We'd love to see that now we finally got Victrix on a Guard in stock. It took us ages to get them in stock. They've sold out for fucking ages. We're really missing some important info. 100%. This is the problem, right? So I can only really truly talk about what they've shown us. And even then I have to kind of make assumptions like the base-to-base thing, because we don't actually know how that's going to work. They're not going to give us all of the information right now. We don't know how stealth works in the new edition. We don't know how cover works in the new edition properly. My dad's a Kiwi, hobbits are real. Amazing. Do you know what I mean? So like there's a lot of assumptions being made. Who knows? Who knows, chat? Oh my god. Can someone cheer me up with a shit joke tonight on a super chat? I need a good belly laugh. Like a proper laugh. Logan Grimnar, base size is a bad thing or a good thing for the new 11th edition change or fine changes. If we're right, and base to base to base to base is changed and gone, it's both good and bad. For the person who's taking Logan Grimnar's charge, it's good for them because he can't just have Terminators fighting through his back passage through a fucking 85-inch base. For the Space Wolf player, it means he'll get less people fighting. Given how badly they got nicked from the 10th Ed promo article, how careful do you think they'd be checking ones for 11th? So I'd love to say that I think that they have mocked, not nicked. Yeah, well, I'd like to say that they would have learnt their lesson, but they don't. They just don't, do they? Let's be honest. I'm interested in the new Deep Strike Plus reserves being 8 inches. Currently, you can't come in with grenades unit and use a grenade strat due to its 8-inch range. Do you think it'll just remove the strat? So you can't come in within 8 inches. You have to be 8 inches away. So you can't come in within 7.9 inches. You have to be 8 inches away. And if the grenade strat's 8 inches, you still can't use it. Which Jeremy's just said as well. Someone give me one member to get me to a nice round 5, please. Just someone. Anybody. Krieg Engineers remote mine, however. I don't know what the range is on that. Terminators will be at the front, Logan's base at the back, and it's still within 2. Maybe. Depends on how you're moving your unit around the table, doesn't it, to be fair, and how far you roll. There'll definitely be shenanigans. There'll be a way people can abuse it. There's always going to be the case. It's just Warhammer players do that, don't they? Jeremy, thank you so much for the one. Ah. I love you all. I love you all. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Wicktail. Thank you, Paddy. Thank you, Soul, for 1 gifted. All of you. We're now on 78. The Baneblade moving wall terrain ability will be interesting 11th. Again, if those abilities stay the same, you know. Fire Dragons have a field day? Yeah, they will. Go on the Fire Dragons. Thank you, everyone, for gifting the membership. We're now 2 away from 80, 22 away from 100. 2 more then, now? Thank you anyway, you wonderful human beings. Love you all dearly. Ma'ar! Thank you for the 1 gift of membership. I think I'm saying that right. We're thinking that combat will work like AOS 3-inch engagement. That could be interesting, and the smaller 2-inch makes sense as AOS has larger models and base overall. That's what I think, James, if I'm honest. That's genuinely what I believe, but it's not based on fact necessarily. That's just what I think they'll do. They mentioned that vehicles that go through terrain that's lower than 4 inches. If they actually have terrain lower than 4 inches, it's on the table there. It's not been relevant up till now, is it? Liam, you silly goose. We don't say abuse. We say skill expression. Fair. Touché, sir. Touché, sir. We're on 79 members, chat. We're 1 away from 80. I love the phrase skill expression instead of fucking gamey dickheads. Ah, Warhammer, thank you for 1 gifted membership. You're a legend. That could be cool. I prefer AOS combat phase, and that is one of the reasons. Yeah, so the way that combat works in Age of Sigmar, I prefer. There's a few things I prefer about it. Having said that, the way that Age of Sigmar works as a wider game, I don't necessarily prefer, because I don't think it's as multifaceted as 40k is. I think it's more restricted to everyone runs in the middle and fights each other, but at least the fight phase is better. So I'm more positive for it. Voodoo, thank you for the 1 gifted. 81 chat, come on. 20 from someone and we're good. Because I want it to be neater and tidier and smoother and less I feel like combat's messy at the moment. I do, and I'm a combat fan. I think it's messy. I might be wrong. Maybe this is just a feeling I have, but it feels messy to me. And I don't like the inch within half an inch of half an inch, or base to base or base to base. And I don't like any of that crap. I like the idea of 2-inch engagement range. If you're in 2 inches, you can fight. If you're not, you can't. Do you potentially get 2 times pylons now in the destroyed transport example? Yes. If a unit. So the way I understand it, Simred, is if a unit charges and is eligible to fight, and then the unit that it's eligible to fight against is then destroyed, but there is another target within pile-in range, you can then make a special overrun fight move instead of a normal fight move. And if you do that, you essentially get a second pile-in, and then you get to fight. I would imagine that there is a restriction there that we don't know yet, and I would imagine that restriction then says that you don't get a consolidate move, is my best guess. And that comes from this, right? So here, this Demon Prince has charged and has fights first because he's charged. And this unit of Marines have charged and have fights first because they've charged, right? These Berserkers, okay? And then you have a Rhino here. This has fights first and he fights first, and so he destroys the Rhino, okay? The Rhino's been blown up. Cool. The unit then disembarks out the back of the Rhino. This unit was eligible to fight, but couldn't swing because the thing they were eligible to fight against has now been destroyed, which means they make an overrun fight move with their fights first unit. They move an additional 3 inches here, which is the second pile-in essentially, right? Then they fight, killing 2 of these models, okay? I would assume that overrun move there that they do probably replaces their consolidation. I'd assume it means they can't do both, because I think that's a sensible assumption. But again, it is an assumption. I could be talking out my fucking arse. Here's a super chat topic, actually. I love doing these sorts of things with you guys. What's the biggest assumption you've ever made that's then been proven to be wrong? I bet there'll be some right comedy ones on there that you can stick on postcards. Wonder how the emergency box stuff will work with the bigger engagement range. It was precisely the Art of War video that made me realise that skill expression is just a competitive dog whistle for cheesy rules abuse. Yeah, fair. 50mm is 1.96 inches. Interesting. A full penis length. Isn't it? A full penis length. 50mm. 1.96 inches. Still nothing from Dan. I assume he's still alive. I'd bet they get to consolidate too. There's got to be a downside to doing an overrun fight. Surely. There has to be a... If you choose to do an overrun fight, you can't do this. There's got to be a trade-off. I can't imagine they just go, yeah, just have an extra 3 inches for the fight because you've killed more stuff. Go for it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit too... Stop bragging. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Squid.
All BMW drivers can't drive. Joking. Love you.
Shocking, Meg. Thank you for the $5 though. Night-esque. Take care, dude. Love you, Escapade. Have a good night, man. Thanks for hanging out. We're on £41 in Super Chats, chat, and we're on 81 members. Do we fancy hitting all 3 targets for a Wednesday? Make Liam happy like this? That's my happy face. It's not been about very much lately, the happy face, I'll be honest. We haven't seen Overwatch yet. All these melee buffs need an offset. Correct? Absolutely. I am seeing a lot of people saying it's going to be a melee edition, which I'm not 100% against. As a man who wants to build lots of Custodies melee units and dreadnoughts. Thank you, Tank, for 5 gifted memberships. You're a hero. We're on 86, team. Great year. Great year. Vintage year 86. Thank you so much, Tank. You're a fucking legend. I love you. I'll buy a combat patrol next time at Hobby House if they can't consolidate. Okay. Deal. I'd say the terrain layouts are the offset. They do look dense. It does make you wonder how some of the larger stuff's going to operate. Currently, though, I want to put together. I know what it's at. I know how it all goes when I say I want to do a project, and you're all going to give me abuse for it. But currently, I want to put together an infantry heavy with all the new models custodian army. I've got a shield captain, right? I've got what's his name? Not Trajan Valorous, but the heresy one. Constantine Valdor, I've got him in a box to use as Trajan because I think he fits the aesthetic better. I've got 2 units of Venatari, 2 units of shield custodians, 2 units of spear custodians for the new ones, and 2 of the dreadnoughts. I don't know how many points that is, I haven't put it together, but that's what I would like to use. I'm currently painting a Smash Captain of Sandguard, so I'm very happy. You should be too, yeah. Any Krieg kits in Hobby House? Yeah, loads. I reckon they'll bring back the double Overwatch from Lair of the Tyrant. I'm hoping the change to hidden, etc. stops TO's ruling ground floor buildings are all obscured. Might help a little at least. Might make it look a little nicer as well. Play a little nicer. Oh, the new custodians the same box, 2 separate kits. If you're talking about between the spears and the swords and shields, they're 2 separate kits. 2 separate kits. The bases and torsos and stuff are the same, but the arm sets you get are different. Right now I'm dreading playing against my mates orcs with all this melee stuff. Oh yeah? I can't imagine we're going to move into an edition where it's melee all the time and shooting's fucked. I just can't see that being... I feel like, again, maybe I'm giving them too much credit. History dictates that sometimes they fuck it right up. But I can't see them being dumb enough to be like, yeah, you shoot your players, you've got no fucking chance. Because you have got armies that are still predominantly shooty focused or have, you know, large like contingents of ranged firepower that... Tanks are separate too, yeah. That means that, you know, guards predominantly rely on shooting. Tau definitely rely on shooting. They're not the only ones. There's more that predominantly rely on shooting. I can't see them just going, yeah, fuck them. Tanks all separate, yeah. So you've got the Caladius, and then you've got the Caladius Annihilator, and then you've got the Grav Carrier, 3 separate boxes. All available here at Hobby House for pre-order right now. Exclamation mark Hobby House. We're 4 members away from 90. Between the 152 of you, if 14 people spend $4.99, we hit members goal. 14 people just spend a $5. We hit members goal. It's officially less than 10% of you. I dread it now, Liam. Haha, I'm terrible at the game. Didn't help playing Grey Knights until about 6 months ago. Yeah, I mean, that's playing on hard mode, right? The movement change makes screening prison lists easy to play against. I've saved my pending purchases for Hobby House this payday. Oh, bless you. Oh, my God. Slaves to G-Daddy? What a great name. Thank you so much for 10 gifted memberships, you fucking absolute dancer. Love you. You're insane. Thank you. And Clive the Kiwi comes in with 5 gifted memberships as well. Oh, my God, you two. Slaves to G-Daddy. To G-Daddy is a great name, by the way. Late fee. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have they said all the terrain footprints are the old obscuring rule? Surely seems wrong that a barricade line can hide Defiler behind it. I don't think so, but I don't know. Thank you so much, Clive the Kiwi, and a massive thank you to Slaves to G-Daddy for the 1 gifted membership, for the 10 gifted memberships and the 5 gifted memberships. If you have been gifted membership, exclamation mark Discord, get yourself in Discord. You can now hang out in more areas because you're a member. And it'd be lovely if you say thank you to the people that give them to you because they're amazing human beings. We've now done the super chat target, right? We're now £59 off of the super chat target, and I can go home with a massive erection. For shooting armies, I foresee a lot going for units that strip, ignores cover, turret weapons, or ignore modifiers. Joe was saying yesterday, and sometimes you have to take what he says with a little bit of a pinch of salt because he kind of disappears into his own little head as to where the meta's going to be. But he said that he thinks there's a possibility that 11th edition is going to be the edition of Flamers. Which I can see.
Having read some of the new rules, I don't have the mental capacity to get my head around it all until the book comes out. Hoping to pre-order from HH and then play a game the morning it comes out.
Having read some of the new rules, I don't have the mental capacity to get my head around at all until the book. Yeah, you'll be able to pre-order from us hopefully, and then on the weekend of launch, I'm going to be in the building, hopefully teaching everyone the game if they need me to teach them. Robert, thank you so much for the 1 gifted membership. You're a legend. Tank, you've also, with that £10 super chat, taken us over halfway for the super chat target. Thank you so much, you wonderful human being. 1 English pink one, and we're good. Did you hit membership target? You're happy to see me? Both. Coronal Panic. Both. Joe might think that, but he also said what he did about the space projects. I know, that's what you have to take it with a pinch of salt, right? If you're going to play on hard mode, pick up GC Decult or Abmech. You also play on broke mode. I did build 40 rubrics with Flamers. Huzzah. He thinks it's Flamer Edition, and I can see it. I can. I don't know if I do think he's 100% right or not, but I can see it. Melter's more like Melter range from Deep Strike is nasty. If it stays the same. So the rule currently with Melter is that Melter rule says in the rulebook that half range add damage. Right? So if it's a multi-melter with 24-inch range, within 12 inches add whatever the number is, 2. Right? Eldar Melter for Fire Dragons is an 18-inch range. So because they've got the Melter range within 9. What they could do, because of the changes to deep striking if they wanted to, is say that Melter now gives you the extra damage if you're within 6 inches. That's what they could do. This is an example. I'm not saying they will do. This is an example, but this is what I'm talking about when I'm like, we don't know the whole fucking picture. We don't know everything. So they may have gone, well, if we're changing deep strike so you can get within an 8, do we really want Fire Dragons deep striking within 8 and all of them getting their Melter 3? We probably don't. So maybe what we do is we change the Melter keyword so that it then says you gain the additional damage within 6 inches, for example. They could do something completely different again. Or they leave it the same and melted weapons have a fucking field day. Does it mean Vulcan is more likely to come next as a Primarch? Him versus Perty would be cool. I have no idea. Much easier to balance Malta then, possibly. Remove some flavour, isn't it? Meanwhile, owners of jetpacks and 18-inch multi-range weapons are having the best day ever. I didn't see that footnote, no. I didn't. Jeremy's literally just informed me of it. I didn't read the footnote. Maybe they haven't thought about it and Melter's going to have a whale of a time. Mind you, it's realistically, it's only 18-inch Melter that it affects, right? They make Deep Strike 8 so that charges are still 50-50. So you have to be more... Right. Charges are still 9 inches, Brian. Charges are still 9 inches, right. You can't be within 8 inches. You've got to be more than 8 inches away. Right? 8 inches or more away. If you are 8.1 inches away, so that you're more than 8 away, which is the rules, and you roll a double 4 on your charge range, right, you won't make base. So you can't charge. Because you have to be able to measure base to base, and that has to be within your maximum charge distance. Okay? So if you drop 8.1 inches away, the only way with a maximum charge distance you can make base to base is with a 9-inch charge. So it's still a 9-inch charge. The charge distance hasn't changed. Stuart Wilson, thank you for 10 gifted memberships. You're a hero. What a fucking legend. Fucking hero, Stu. Thank you so much. You're a legend. The article says, another key change is ingress moves, which cover all types of special deployment like deep strike and other ways of moving in from strategic reserve. And they now allow you to set up more than 8 inches away. So it's worded, they allow you to set up more than 8 inches away from enemy models rather than the current 9 inches. This means that you'll still need to roll a 9 to successfully charge out of deep strike. But now your potential landing zones are larger, and you have much more flexibility to move your models around when the dice gods are kind. So it's the article, the Warcom article, not the rulebook. For clarity, not the rulebook. The Warcom article says, allow you to set up more than 8 inches away from enemy models.
I just finished a book on how to give constructive criticism. 2. It was shit.
Thank you, Stu, for the $5. I hope Pivot gets in the bin. They need a better way of preventing abuse from a handful of sculpts. I agree. Pivot sucks balls. I don't like it. No, so no. Right. This is going to really confuse people, okay? Right. Okay. Let's do a thing. Right. Are you ready, team? Time for pretty graphics. Okay. The smaller set of arrows here is our engagement range. Right? The larger set of arrows here is 8 inches away. Okay? Exactly 8 inches away. These are my models. This is my enemy model in blue. Okay? I want to deep strike. So I have to deep strike just out of 8 inches. It says more than 8 inches. I have to deep strike out of 8 inches. So I deep strike here, right? Here's my units. Okay? I have to be over 8 inches. Right, it says here, in this particular part of the article, right, allow you to set up more than 8 inches away from enemy models, right, rather than the current 9 inches, okay? Cool, good. We scroll up, however, right, moving charges is also a little more generous. The target of your charge must be within the distance that you rolled, measuring base to base, okay? So, back to this example. I roll a charge, and I roll 8 inches. I'm just over 8 inches away, so base to base, my charge fails. No matter what my engagement range is, my charge fails, right? Cool. I roll a 9-inch charge. Now, my maximum charge distance here is then within 9 inches base to base, so my charge is successful, and I successfully made my charge, and I start moving my models, right? We then go back to this article, and we look at this charge move. While moving, each model must end its move closer to one or more charge targets. This blue one is my charge target, okay? Each model that can end its move within 1 inch of one or more charge targets must do so. Each model that can end its move engage with one or more charge targets must do so. In this particular example, because of how I've placed these, this one moves because I've got a 9-inch move. I don't have to go base to base, but I do have to be within 1 inch because the article literally says here, each model that can end its move within 1 inch of one or more charge targets must do so, right? This one here, because I've got a 9-inch charge, can also go to there and be within 1 inch. And this one here can go there within 1 inch. If, however, I was here and here and here, right? And I rolled the same charge, he would move within 1 inch. He might be able to move within 2 inches and be in engagement range. He probably can't move within 2 inches and be in engagement range. Then he would pile in 3 inches and get an engagement range, right? That's how it works. Sorry. That's how I interpret it works based on what I've read on that Warcom article. It doesn't have to get you base to base. You just have to be within charge distance as the crow flies. Yeah, which is measured base to base. You just have to measure base to base. You don't have to finish in base. You just have to measure base to base. Sorry you've not seen me in a while. Been catching a lot of shows afterwards. Bless you, mate. Thank you for catching them anyway. We good? Are we clearer now? Are we okay with that chat? Graphical representations help, right? Graphical representations help, always. Right, you wonderful human beings. I need to start wrapping up because I've got to go downstairs and help out Dan for the last hour because I assume, hopefully, Toby's taken my advice and gone home to get an early night. Base to base is for the successful fail roll, not for movement. Correct. I was corrected on Mikey's statement. Yeah, 100%. Polychrome, you got it spot on. Very clear, but I'm saying we've got a month of arguments ahead anyway. Well, like I said to you, right, this is my interpretation of the Warcom article. So pinch of salt. Pinch of salt, right? Because it's my interpretation of the Warcom article. The 2-inch engagement range is massive for walking around ruins. It's huge. It is huge. It's massive. Because you only have to measure as the crow flies, and then you can go around the ruin, and then you only have to be within 2 inches. If you can get within 1 inch, you have to. You actually only have to be within 2 inches. It's massive. It is massive. I agree, 2 inches is huge. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you know what's also huge, chat? 129 likes from you wonderful human beings and 112 gifted memberships. Thank you so much for tonight's support. I will quite happily keep sitting down and trying to break these rules down with you guys and trying to understand them. I think most of them aren't going to be that complicated. I think changing quite drastic changes to charges and how charges work and how fighting works is quite a big change, and we're going to have to talk through that. And there'll be nuances and there'll be things that will creep up and go, actually, how does that work? But for the most part, I think that what we're seeing from GW is quite positive. I like most of the changes. I like the 2-inch engagement range. I like the way that charging works based on the example I've just shown you. I like the fact that fights first is now for the player whose turn it is. I like the fact that everybody piles in before anybody starts fighting. Big fan of all these things. Huge fan of all these things. So, you know, are you shipping to Germany as well? Not currently, no. No, international shipping with import duties is something we're not currently prepared to tackle. Maybe in the future. Who knows? So I personally, I say it constantly, cautiously optimistic. I think it's probably mostly better changes for the game overall. I feel like it sounds healthier and it's going to be more fun and engaging and easy to use over time. But we'll see, because I know people are concerned about what will happen for shooting units. I'm sure they'll release something and showcase something and people are like, okay, it's fine. They'll be fine. They'll be good. But you people have been amazing tonight. Will web orders be up in time for a certain handsome, bearded bastard's birthday first week in May? I don't know, is my honest answer. As a guard player, I'm currently sweating a bit, but keeping my hopes up for Indirect and Overwatch. I'm sure you'll be fine. Is it specified in the article about fights first that charging units gets fights first? Yeah, it is, yeah. They say that, yeah. Right, anyway. You lot are amazing. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight on the Liam and Joe show. It's not the Liam and Joe show. He wasn't here. On the Warhammer show. It's the Liam and Joe show tomorrow at 13:30. I want to start building some more custodians, so you can look forward to that one tomorrow. In the evening, we've got Tom and Paddy in the studio. I believe. I'll check, but I'm pretty sure. And so you get to watch a game of 40k. I don't know who's playing who. I'm leaving it for Joe to sort out with those two because I've got to focus on the shop downstairs because Dan's on leave. Boo, Dan, boo. He's off to Spain for 4 days, selfish fuck. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash that like button for me. We're on to 138 likes. I really appreciate it. You are awesome. So thank you for doing that for me. Thank you for... What happened there? I don't know what happened there. Thank you so much for hitting the membership goal as well at 112 members. You're amazing. I love you all very, very dearly. We have got a Liam and Joe show tomorrow, like I said, and a live game in the evening. We've then got After Dark on Friday at 7:30. So we've got 3 more shows for you this week. That is everything from me. I appreciate you all loads and loads and loads. You are, in fact, the best chat. Thank you so much for watching, you wonderful human beings. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you in the next one.